Let's talk about tail risk. Because like I said before, what we're seeing right now are, in no uncertain terms, tail risk scenarios. Generally speaking, tail risk is defined as the possibility of large, unexpected moves beyond what is accounted for by standard risk measures. Does that sound like anything that's happened recently? I think it does. It refers to the risk of these extreme events, often at the tails. That's the reason why it's called tail risk, because you're talking about the tails of the probability distribution, these little curvy little tails at the end that do this. That's what tail risk is. Colloquially, tail risk is really defined as 3 SDs or more away from the mean. While these events are not very likely, statistically speaking, the reason why we build them into risk models is because asymmetrical P&L is normally associated with tail risk events. It's unlikely that they happen, but in the event that they do happen, people tend to have very lopsided P&Ls because of the fact that they're not really thought of as likely to occur. And so people don't plan for them very often. I'm here to tell you that tail risk is a very real thing and that you should consider it as part of that normal price distribution. Now, 99.7% of the time, you're going to fall within 3 standard deviations of the mean. The problem becomes when 0.3% of the time outside of that 3rd standard deviation, if you lose all of your money and then some, that becomes a risk that people who manage your risk, hopefully also you, have to actually build into the framework of risk as far as your positions are concerned. That's why people talk about tail risk. Here are some tail risk events that you might recognize. We're going to have to amend this slide after the last 5 days. However, Black Monday, 1987, tail risk event. LTCM, 1998, also another tail risk event. September 11th, a horrible day, but also a tail risk event. And the GFC in 2007 and 2008, another tail risk event. Flash crash, 2010. These are all tail risk events. COVID, massive tail risk event, and a very long, drawn-out tail risk event that had many, many reverberations of it. When I finish this presentation, I'm going to go back and probably add tariffs 2025 as another tail risk event, because we did not expect these things to happen. So what do tail risks look like when you think about them from a normal price distribution? You recognize this from the beginning. 68% of the time we're within 1 standard deviation. 95% of the time we're within 2 standard deviations. 99.72% of the time we're within 3 standard deviations. And guess what? Tail risk is outside of those 3 standard deviation coverage. That's really what we're talking about when we're